Welcome back. Chandigarh's population is between 10 to 12 lakh people. Keep that figure in mind because in the last 10 years on India's roads, 15 lakh people have lost their lives. So effectively, in the last decade, we have lost the population equivalent to that of a city on our roads in the country. The Union Road Transport Ministry's data shows that the road death rate in the country is around 250 people every 10,000 square kilometers. In countries such as the United States, China, and Australia, which are bigger countries than India in terms of size, the corresponding figures are just 57, 119, and 11, respectively. So, to compare the 15.3 lakh deaths in the last decade, this figure stood at 12.1 lakh deaths in the previous decade. Now, while the increase in fatalities in the past decade must be seen against the backdrop of the quantum jump in population, road length and number of vehicles, experts say that there hasn't been much effort that has been put into curbing this unnecessary loss of lives at a mass level. Experts say that while it's well known and often highlighted that road safety is a multi-sectoral issue requiring greater cooperation among government departments, stakeholders, and non-profit entities, not much has been made in this direction, with agencies concerned continuing to work in silos. So let's go across to my colleague, let's go across to my guest, Anurag Kulshrestha. He's the founder, president of TRAX Society, which is a road safety NGO. Joining me at this point, Anurag, thanks for joining us on Mirror Now. What is your understanding behind the reasons why we are seeing this quantum increase in the number of deaths here? I mean, to lose 15 lakh people in the last 10 years means we lose 1.5 lakh people every year. That is unbelievable. If we were losing anywhere close to that number, for instance, in train accidents or air accidents, the entire country would be up in arms. But somehow we are completely oblivious to how much of a silent killer our roads have become.
Well, Ritangshu, actually, this figure you are saying just 15 lakhs, it's maybe 30 lakhs. Because as per WHO,
Wow.
our figures are almost double. So it will be 30 lakhs. Now, one more figure is there that we are just having only 2.2% of highways in India, including expressways and all. But these highways and expressways are contributing more than 50% of deaths. And we are not serious about it because you have very much cleared almost 250 people are dying every 10,000 kilometer roads. But there must be another elimination. Just 2.2% of highways are producing 50% of the total deaths. So, and we are ashamed of that. Pakistan is having highway traffic police since 1997, and India is still zero. We haven't we are not thinking about that. We must be having one highway police separately on these highways, because I am the member of different state council, road safety state councils. But in every council and every district road safety committees, we have to discuss if NHAI should reduce that deaths, automatically the figures will be coming down by 50%. And second thing, we are committing road deaths for the decreasement of 50% since 2010. Means when the figure was almost 95,000 deaths per year, we have started committing 50% reduction. Means 45,000 was the target. And now the death is almost 1.7 lakhs. So if we will compare with that commitment, which was done in 2009 or 10, so it is almost 4 to 5 times increment in that figure. And second thing, highway police is not there. And third thing, which I want to say, there's no particular policy or the framework with our central government and with our state governments. Everybody is just focusing on the things which can be diverted on the public only. Means deaths. Speeding is the main cause, means human error. Drink and driving means human error. Without helmet deaths means human error. What's the matter of the police? What are they doing? If they are unable to administrate us, no need to
Fair
make
enough.
more flyovers, then more highways, more expressways if you are unable to control it. So ultimately, as per WHO or United Nations, We have to focus first on the proper infrastructure, that is a safe infrastructure. Whenever we are discussing about the infrastructure, we are focusing on the faster mobility. Why not on the safer mobility? Second thing, then
Absolutely
enforcement.
fair.
We are not focusing, we don't have the highway police till now, and we are saying that we are enforcing on our highways. What
Yeah.
type of enforcement is there?
So that's a very important point you made, Mr. Kulshrestha, that we don't have highway police. Now, again, the argument comes as to, if we are barely, I mean, the policing ratio in urban areas itself, the police to population ratio is so abysmal. I don't know whether we have the manforce to come and police the highway network that we have in the country. I'll also bring in Manoj Wadhwa, who's also a road safety activist, someone who has had a personal history also to be associated with this cause. Mr. Wadhwa, Mr. Kulshrestha has spoken about the travel, the problems on the highways and the problems in the intercity travel and how these roads are not safe. But my question is, it's not as if the roads within our cities, within our towns are safe as well, because you see the number of deaths being caused due to potholes, the number of deaths being caused due to lack of properly manned or effective signals, the number of deaths that has been caused by vehicles taking U-turns improperly. And you understand that there is a significant problem, whether it be a civic road or a highway, somehow deaths keep occurring on these roads.
I will echo Mr. Kulshet's words that we don't have accountability actually in the officials. The contractors and the officials who are actually making these roads are not held accountable in our country. So if there is a accident happening, we are not investigating properly. Number one, and the police who is sitting in the police station is not actually expert in investigating the road accident. They are sitting there as a the roster policy. They are sitting there, and whatever case comes, they will be liable to handle that particular case. They are not expert in investigating the road accidents. So if in my case, for example, it was first diverted to a hit and run case, and then later on when the investigation goes on, and the high court was also intervened in the investigation process, and then later on they came to know that
Could
it
you give
was
us
not
details
a
of your
hit and
case,
run
Mr.
case.
Wadhwa, if you're comfortable sharing it with us? Could you tell us about a tragedy that has fallen in your own life and how that made you more aware of the problem we have in terms of road safety?
So I was traveling on the national highway
If you're
from
comfortable.
Faridabad. I was coming back from a marriage function with my 3-year-old child and my wife on a two-wheeler. But it was a pothole. It was a dark night, and well, pothole was filled with the black water as well, so it was not visible from the far. When I trapped into the pothole, I realized that it is a big pothole, and in 5 seconds, I lost my child because of the pothole. A vehicle coming from behind crushed my wife's legs as well. Since then, I am fighting for this particular cause that there should be some accountability for the contractors and the officials who are making these killer roads. Secondly, the officials who are investigating the road accidents are not actually capable of investigating it. They are just trying to close the file as soon as possible in any particular direction, and they will try to keep the government officials and the contractors out from the investigation as much as possible for the longer period of time, so that people like me will fed up with the process of the courts and all, and ultimately will give up ending losing the case, or we will be not fighting the case at all. So that's why people are not fighting. Secondly, I have given this proposal many a times to many politicians, including Mr. Nitin Gadkari as well. I humbly request them, please look into the proposal from our side, which includes the accountability for the officials. We are not saying that send everybody to the jail. Just make them accountable for the better roads,
Hmm.
and like do the proper investigation. After investigation, if you feel that there can be a responsibility for the road contractors or the officials who are like NHAI or some other agencies as well, then do the proper investigation, found the real cause of the accident, and then take the action. Not only penalize every time to the common man who is suffering, who is giving all the income tax to make the road first of all, and then to use the road, and then not to wearing the helmet or seat belt. If I'm not wearing seat belt or helmet, I'll be killing to myself. I'll not be liable to kill anybody else. But if you're not making a good road, it will kill to lakhs and lakhs of people, right? So accountability should be more
Mr.
on the contractors
Wadhwaji,
and
I'm
the
not sure I
officials
agree
rather
with
than
your last
asking.
point. I completely understand. I completely understand with your point which you're making of accountability. Yes, in terms of accountability about the contractors, about about the people who are designing unsafe roads, but also when it comes to personal road, this thing. Someone, when we saw for very recently in Pune, exactly, along with the many other instances, ultimately people who are rich enough to drive fancy and safe cars here, ultimately they may get away with their lives, but they end up taking the lives of other people on two-wheelers, other people on the roads, pedestrians who are not very fortunate to travel in safe vehicular traffic here. We have, and there has been a discourse over five-star safety in cars. There has been a safe, but there has been a discourse about having sunroofs in cars. But we have seen parents put the children up on through the sunroof in order to make them enjoy. We have seen people make reels with five-star safety cars, trying to test out their safety and trying to call all kinds of stunts while filming reels on the roads. Individual behavior on the roads also needs to be policed, because let's be honest, we are a very indisciplined country.
I completely agree. So the whole picture will come to the investigation. If investigation found that somebody is not following the traffic rule or somebody is not taking a proper road, both, like mainly the richer community is doing the problem, right? It is either the contractor or the official or the rich people who are driving the car rashly or something. If investigation concludes that okay, this was the fault of this person who is not riding the bike or the car properly, and that's why he was involved in a particular accident, it should be punished, right? We are not saying that you should not punish the common man. If the common man is also doing some mistake, punish them, but don't only punish the common man. It should also be applicable for the contractors and the officials who are making faulty roads, faulty designs, and the police is not investigating the case in the right direction. We are always trying to put the blame on the rider. That is the main problem, actually.
All right, let me also bring in Anurag at this point. Anurag, you mentioned extensively that we need to have highway police here, but as Mr. Manoj was pointing out, it's not just a question of quantity but also quality here. We see traffic police in general, or even general police here. The first instinct is settle karna hai ki nahi, ya court kacheri jana hai, police mein jana se zyada problem on all these things. There is a tendency to wrap things under the carpet and finish it and settle it as quickly as possible here. Do we really have the resources in a country like this, in such a big and populated country, to have highway police as well who are effectively trained to try and maintain discipline on these roads?
Actually, Ritash, there is a one thing. This we need to have a smart police. That is smart policing. Till now, I mean to say that these words, none of the police person or maybe the IPS in India is trained as per for the traffic management. They are just doing the enforcement, that is
Yes.
chalaning, and maybe now through digital media, digital source more, that is almost 90% now. 10% this is active
In
enforcement
fact,
and
sorry to interrupt,
90%
but
is.
traffic is often seen as a punishment posting for the police.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That is the image, and that has become the tradition. Okay, now we are not
Yeah.
we don't have the fear of the law. Second thing, as you are saying, the individuals are responsible for their own behaviors. Then, if me as an individual are responsible for that behavior, then I don't need the traffic police. I don't need the government. That I have to be managed myself. Second thing, smart policing means, as I already told you, like they are focusing for the traffic regulation and enforcement and clearing the ways for the VVIPs or VIPs. These are the three duties of the police persons. They must have the knowledge of the traffic management, which is our all the police personnel are zero into that. Till the moment they will not understand the real problems, they cannot do anything. Ultimately, they have to announce the deaths per annum in their cities, states, or maybe the localities. So these are the things. First, if we have the proper infrastructure, than the enforcement. But about the enforcement, because through the enforcement everything can be improved by 50, more than 50%. I'm saying here very much clearly, almost all the more than 70% accidents are happening near cuts, crossings, roundabouts, diversions, and merging points. And these all the points are unsafe nationally, and nobody is focusing on that. These are the main reason. We are just focusing on
Exactly.
drink and driving, speeding without helmet, and this. Second thing, If we'll go through the details inside the city, because I have discussed about the highways and all 50% part. But if I'm coming to the cities, almost around 40 to 50% accidents are happening just because of helmet or non-wearing of helmet, substandard helmet. In India, in every city,
Yes.
almost 80% of the helmets are substandard. And police is not raiding on that. Bureau of Indian Standards are not raiding on that. And they have allowed for the sale and manufacturing of these helmets openly. There's no action. In Delhi also, on every crossing, you may see in the
Yeah.
substandard helmet sold everywhere, but no action by them.
Exactly.
And second thing, if this is a part of the traffic management, if 40% are dying just because of helmets and non-wearing of helmets, then who is responsible? Is Bureau of Indian Standard or
All
Delhi
right.
Police or the police department? So we have to focus on that. In Delhi, almost 50% of the pedestrians are dying. We don't have the network everywhere, on every crossing, on everywhere where you will see the zebra crossings. These are blocked at medians, not painted well. And even we
Yeah,
are
but
having
Mr.
the width
Anurag
of almost
Kulshrestha, let's be
1.5
honest,
feet.
when was the last time any of us, whether we were a pedestrian or whether we were a vehicle user, actually respected a zebra crossing? The fact still remains where even at every signal you see people parking the cars on top of the zebra crossing instead of rather leaving space for pedestrians to cross here. It is a mindset which needs to change, and unfortunately, if the vast majority of the country continues to have a mindset that road safety rules are not serious, there's only so much implementation can be done. And I completely agree with you. The administration policing and implementation of existing rules is a priority, and we're lacking badly in that. But there also has to be a culture change which has to be brought in also in people as to how to use roads safely. But this is a conversation which will go on for a while. Anurag Kulshrestha and Manoj Wadhwa, thank you so much for joining me on this short